What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense, and we have a very special guest today. We have Pastor Randolph Scott, the father of Tamika and Latocha Scott. I already did a interview with him a little bit earlier on the Juices channel, but there were some points and some follow-ups, and Pastor Scott so graciously agreed to appear with us. So, how are you doing today, Mr. Scott?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Thank you.
Uh, we we do things a little bit differently over on the Make It Make Sense channel. We get into it. We do deep dives, but we also promote healing. You know what I mean? My mantra is shady but fair. And that's kind of like what I'm known for in these spaces. And I felt when I watched your interview, rewatched it, you were a little shady but fair too. you have like you have like a sense of humor about things, and I appreciated that. So, was there anything you kind of wanted to, get off your chest before we get started?
No, I'm grateful, to be alive. I'm always, thanking God for each day that I see me and my family. And I've learned never take anything for granted or take anybody for granted. So I'm not one that complain about anything. If something that I can't change, and then I just pray about it.
Okay. There were a few themes that I really wanted to address in this interview: misconceptions, unrealistic expectations for your family, accountability, and healing. Because when I listened to not only the interview, I also watched what people were saying. And there were a lot of, I don't know, we'll say dissenters who didn't quite understand why you chose to conduct the interview. And I said it from the very beginning. Anytime that you are a private citizen and you are spoken about on a very public platform, you should be given the possibility or the ability to respond. Is that safe to say?
I agree.
So, guys, before we even get into it, this is why Pastor Scott decided to do any interviews. He needs to be able to tell his story. He deserves to be able to tell his story. And, just because he happens to do it in a way that's understanding and yet funny does not mean that it's not his story to tell. So, yeah, you got a lot of laughs on that first interview because you're very quick with it.
So,
I would say very similar to what I've seen from Tamika. Tamika is very quick with her responses, which is why I think why her personality is really resonating with people. So I want to start with the history. Because, guys, we're going to get into all of it. Y'all know how we do around here. The straight shooters, we're straight shooters, pow pow, we don't play. We get into the heart of things. We get into the logical side of things. But we're respectful. Shady, fair, respectful. Okay. So, um, no father, no mother can actually control their adult child. What you can typically do as a parent is kind of guide. But once a adult is able to make decisions for themselves, you cannot tell them what to do. You can just guide them. So with that being said, um, on the original interview, I asked you a question about being invited to the wedding, and you said that you were invited to Tamika's wedding, but you were not invited to Tasha's wedding. Do you know if anyone was invited to Tasha's wedding, or did she elope?
see, again, as I was saying in the last interview, I'm not sure because the thing is this, with my busy schedule, I'm busy trying to take care of, church matters, family matters. And so if it's not something that involves me, then, you know, I don't know what's going on. But I hadn't gotten a written invitation or a verbal invitation. No one has even picked up the phone to call me. And I was saying, I want to clarify this. We were over to Tasha's house. That was probably her old house when he proposed. When I say the church, I didn't mean he was at my church. I mean our church was over to Latosha's house when he had proposed, and he got down on his knees and put a nice ring on her finger and asked her to marry him. And so after that time, I don't know when the actual wedding was performed. I don't know where it was performed or who performed it. I just was there when he proposed.
Okay, so they did involve you in that portion of it, but after the proposal, we're not sure how they got married, if they eloped, if other people were invited. We just know that you were not part of that. Can you kind of tell us, because we have to heal here, how you interpreted that and how that made you feel?
Well, I said in my last interview also that every father wants the best for his child, for his daughter, for his son. And when a man proposes or decide to take your daughter's hand, then you're proud because now you feel like you brought her to the point where now she's an adult, she's a woman now, and the decision was also hers as well as his. So they both agreed that's what they wanted. So I have to, be satisfied with that. There's nothing, I don't believe in coming against your daughter, your son. If they decide America, they're gonna do it anyway, you know.
Right.
But the thing is just a way of doing things. And I believe the old fashioned way is that you come to the Father and you ask the Father's hand. So that's the only thing that I didn't receive. But I'm happy, you know, for all of my kids. All of my kids are married except my last two little ones, and so they're all doing pretty good with their husbands. So I don't interfere unless there's a abusive. Then and I take off my collar and put back on my badge, because I'm not gonna let anyone abuse my mom. She's gone. My wife and my daughters. And so I'm very, agitable about that. I mean that. You don't beat on another man's daughter. I don't care. That's your wife. You don't own her. And that would be the only time that I would step in. But as far as their personal business, if they don't invite me, then I just pray for them.
That comes to one of my rapid fire questions. One of the things that I allow my members of my channel to do or ask questions. So if somebody did ask a question, if there was any abuse. So guys, that's his answer. Had there been anything that involved abuse or DV, then he would have stepped in. So he has not stepped in. So we can only take that to mean that there is no physicality going on in either of his daughter's marriages. So thank you for that. There was another thing that I wanted to touch on more as a follow up. And you said that while Rocky was working for Mr. Kelly, Tasha would have you act as security or have you go around with her in order to feel secure. Can you kind of expound on that? What time frame was that?
Well, I would say what about before I had open heart surgery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I had open heart surgery
May of 2021.
2021. But before that, she would call Daddy, would you go walking with me? We would go walk around the park. I guess she didn't want to go by herself, which, hey, I really understand that. But it was an honor to me to get the call from my daughter to go walking with her. So when I say call me, that means anything that she felt that she wanted her dad or her husband present, she would call me. And I really applaud her for that because it's fun when your children are grown and they still want you to be a part of their life. And so that was
Right.
just a part of our life. We walked together, and I was saying I had got fatigue one time. I was so tired, my feet were hurting, but I was walking because of her. I said, let's do one more lap. But Daddy, I'm tired, and I just did it to impress her. I was just as tired. I wanted to stop when she wanted to stop, but because she had called me, and it's not just one occasion. We have done it on several occasions where we went walking and just spent a whole day together.
Gotcha. Okay. So another another theme that came up because I do listen to what people have to say. People wondered specifically why you have never been to an Escape concert. And before you answer, I want to preface this. Mr. Scott is what you would consider more of a old school parent. And so I grew up also with a old school parent, and their expectations are a little bit different. What has happened with this show is you have a group that formed about 30 years ago. So you have people in that mindset, that generation. But now you have new fans who didn't technically even know who Escape was, and they have grown up in as millennials and Generation Z. And Generation Z and even millennials are quick to cut people off. The whole thing is if you're toxic, you're out of my life. But we have to remember when we're talking to Pastor Randolph and even some of the things that Miss Gloria, the mother, has to say, it might be like more of an old school mindset. So can you, in your own words, explain to people why you never went to an Escape concert?
Well, as I was sitting here and the thought hit me, it never hit me before. Maybe they didn't want me there because I'm a pastor. And I just thought about that. I said, well, it's a possibility. My dad is a pastor. He may not agree to some of the things that actually, occurred. But I really can't answer that question. I've said it a couple times. I said I've never been to that concert, which I haven't. And I know when Tamika started in the acting business, she did a play called Meet the Brown. One Tyler Perry. I'll never forget. She said, "Daddy."
Now we know. Now we know the Meet the Browns. You can't be in our community and not know who Tyler Perry is, Mr. Scott.
She made arrangements for me to go to that. Me, my son, and my daughter, and my sister. So we went. It was at the Civic Center, and we got a chance to go to see that. And I was honored to be a part of that. And she also introduced me to the staff. She took me backstage and introduced me to Tamla Man and the whole staff. And so I was honored, this is my daddy, and I was just overwhelmed. And I thank God, even to this day, I remember like it was yesterday. But I've never went to an Escape concert where I sat in the audience or anything. I've never.
That is a good point. It is maybe more a little secular. They do their costumes, can be a little bit on the sexy side. Maybe that's it. Some people believe that it has something to do with your ex-wife. What I will say is that's a two-way street, guys, because some of the criticism that you got was, well, as a parent, I would make sure that I would go to the concert, or as a parent, I would go and just sit in the back row. That's a that would be something that Mr. Scott could have done if he chose to, or the members of Escape, i.e., his two daughters, could have invited him the way that they have invited their mother. So I don't think that we can fault Mr. Scott for not going, but have more of an understanding that he's an old school parent. Tamika invited him to that play. He went, got dressed up, presumably, and, was the proud father. Sometimes what parents need is for their adult children to, extend that olive branch, or, maybe an invite would have been nice. He's not saying that he never went because they invited and he chose not to go. He's saying that he wasn't invited. So that was something that I wanted to clear up because a lot of people had, things to say. Zelina, thank you. She says, Pastor Scott, I lost my mom in January and my dad 20 years ago. So you are my family in my head.
Wow. I appreciate that. Wow, that touched me. Let her know that truly touched me, because we don't give it one father, one mother, and when they're gone, and like I said, I probably did over 1,000 funerals as a pastor, and I've seen people lose it because they didn't go to the hospital or to come convalescent home to visit their parents. I don't care what a father or mother done that they wouldn't, amen, been put in your life if God didn't see fit. Then number one, I look at the girl, they're being successful. But if it had not been for a father, amen, that they wouldn't be who they are today. And so regardless to if I was a drug addict or whatever, which no, I've never, messed with drugs, they still have a lot to be thankful of, that they had a father that push them. And the thing is this, I love my daughters unconditionally, and we're praying every day that this thing comes to a head, because this is not God's will. We're fussing and they're blessed. They're truly blessed with voices. They look good. Some people can sing and they're ugly, but you know they but they are nice looking and they dress nice and they have the nice homes and nice cars. And man, I mean, what do we have to do? Do God have to take everything away to realize how blessed we are? A lot of times we don't realize how blessed we are until things have been taken away from us. And we don't want to get to that category where they've lost their voice, they can't sing, down there in a wheelchair. Then they were wishing now they were back where they were. So we have to take every day, man, and thank God for our life, our health, and our strength. And I pray for them more than they pray for themselves.
I appreciate that. And one of the things that I've kind of become synonymous for on YouTube is extending my hand to raise people up. And I kind of see that in you a little bit. He doesn't know this, but I am going to be promoting his Facebook where he actually does live sermons. So you can go to Facebook and look up Christ Miracle Temple. I dropped his link. You can subscribe to him. And how often do you do your sermons?
Well, we do service on Wednesdays. It's our Bible study at 6:30 p.m. and every Sunday morning at 11 a.m.
And that is streamed live on Facebook, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct. And you can also watch it on YouTube and Instagram, right? Yes, sir.
I will share those links in the description of the video. But for now, we definitely put his Facebook, Christ Miracle Temple, up there where you can stream it. Thank you, Satra, for joining the membership. Guys, we have about 900 people in here. I think a good like count would be probably about 600 because this is definitely an exclusive. And he is answering not only the questions for the people who, for lack of a better term, sided with him in the interview that he did with Juice, but also for the people who had follow-up questions who did not quite understand some of the things that were said. So around here, we do things a little bit differently. Shady, but fair. And that's what you're going to get. Zelina also says, Pastor Scott, we know glory. Oh, you don't have to answer this. Pastor Scott, we know Gloria is not 100% telling the truth about you not being there because your answers never change, even if it's good or bad. So don't necessarily answer that one because we're going to get into a little bit about this later. Thank you, Zelina, for the super chat.
But can I answer it? Can I answer it?
Yes. I'm nervous. Yes.
Okay. Put it like this. And I said this before. I'm a pastor now. And before all this stuff came up, I was not a man of God during that time. I was young, made a lot of, crazy, stupid decisions that I would never make now. And you learn from your mistakes. So, we all have our own opinion. What Gloria said, amen, I respect that. But you can always outlive a lie. So I don't never bash her or say anything against her. I never will, because I'm not that type of person. But, when you're angry and you hold hostility, the horns come up and you start remembering the bad things. Like you didn't put the toilet seat down or you didn't put the top on the toothpaste. And these things should be left in the past. Okay, so we've all have made mistakes. But hey, we pray for her. She has her own opinion. I will never, ever come against what she say. I will never rebuttal what she say. I just know who I am. I'm a man of God. I love my family. I love my children today. I have 6 kids. I love all of them. And every one of them can come to me today as they were little bitty kids. So nothing has changed with me. So if I did all those bad things, Father God, forgive me and strengthen me, order my steps so I won't do them again. And that's what should be our prayer when we pray. We say, we're going through a bad relationship, and then God rectify your marriage and things are getting better. You don't go back and bring up stuff in the past.
Thank you.
If you forgotten it or you ask for forgiveness, you leave that junk behind. We all had skeletons. Some of you had skeletons with mini skirts on. But the main thing is this: whatever was in the past, leave it in the past.
A skeleton with a mini skirt. Okay, let's. I told you he was funny. Okay, so we kind of touched on being old school parents. So let's see. Now we want to get into the divorce. And I want to say it's important to say you can leave a relationship without leaving your family. And over 50% of marriages end in divorce. So when I was hearing the critiques about some of the things you were saying, I was like, well, can we fault somebody for not wanting to continue a relationship? And my response to that is no. You can't fault someone just because the marriage did not work out, as long as you were still there for your children. So there were a few questions that came up. These are going to be a little bit tougher. It was, how old were your kids when you and Miss Gloria divorced? And was there any physical issues that arose between you two, or cheating?
Okay, number one, we never ever had any physical altercations. We never hit one another. But abuse doesn't just mean somebody hitting you. Somebody can hit you with words. Someone can be jealous to the point where you just get tired of hearing nagging, or you get tired of hearing you shoulda, coulda, or you just feel like if this thing continue, it's best for us to just go our way. And during that time, I was a police officer. So when I dealt with, crisis, people, getting killed, getting shot, ran over, running on the tractor trailers, when you come home, you need to have that peace and serenity. You don't need to hear all this in your ear. And so a lot of that had to do with my career as a police officer and dealing with, insecurity and arguments, And I wouldn't want my daughter to stay in a relationship if the husband is abusing them. I don't care how long they've been married, because it affects everybody. So, like I say, we divorced, but I was there for my children. And the age that we were left was like 15 and 13. So they were teenagers, and they were not small little children like I just walked off with little infants, and stuff like that. No, that didn't happen. I was at their graduations. I was at their dance. Everything that occurred in their school, I was there. And so, no, I never divorced my kids. But out of anger, people will say anything. If you ever worked a homicide where somebody got shot, they'll say the gun was this big. And then when you find the gun, it was this big, because it was fabricated, because that's what they saw during that period of time. So that's what she is remembering in her mind. Okay, so hey, let it go. Okay, you're remarried, I'm remarried. Now, if I keep bringing up Gloria, what you think my wife is going to do now?
Thank you.
It's going to cause hostility in my family now. Let that stuff go. I don't want to know what I did in the past. All I want to know, what can I do to be better than I was in the past?
Okay, so they were teenagers. Ms. Gloria is now remarried, because that was another question one of my members wanted to know. And somebody said this was a personal question. I'm the kind of content creator where I don't just throw things at people. Mr. Scott and I had definite conversations pre-interview where I let him know some of these questions might be hard, and he was comfortable answering them. Also, the way that this channel works is we don't do surface level. We get to like the heart of things, and we really look at things logically. So for anybody who might be asking, okay, well, that was a personal question, Mr. Scott is here for it. So we move on to child support. He has stated that he did pay his child support. Do you want to expound on that before I expound on my thought?
Well, I have made it made it known that I was going to pay child support even when my children had graduated from school, which I did. Okay, so I didn't make a whole lot of money. So, the courts go by what you make. During that time when I first started policing, uh, I want to say back in 81, we made maybe $600 a month. Okay, so out of the $600, the court they look at a percentage of how much you make because you have to survive too. So on the little money that I made at that time wasn't a whole lot, but I survived. It wasn't something where I had uh, money to do this and do that. I had to use what I made in order to survive. And so she worked, and she worked at J.C. Penney's in Forest Park. She don't even remember that. And so she probably was making more than what I was making. And then with my child support, that put her in the category more than what I was getting a month. So the thing is, I never ever neglected my kids when it came to child support. There was time when they came after I had given child support and they needed something. I went in my pocket because those are my daughters. And it take a sick man to not to look out for his girls, and I always wanted my girls, even my daughters now, to be able to come to their dad. But like I said, Tasha was close to Gloria. Tamika has always been close to her daddy. And so it doesn't mean that I love neither one of them more or less. But Tamika just, I guess, felt that my dad is a police officer, man, and I can do things. And she got away with things. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was on my way to work in a full uniform. I see this young lady going across the street in front of Tri-City. I said, that look like my daughter. And sure enough, Tamika was skipping school.
She
Boy,
seemed like she was a little mischievous. She
yeah.
seemed like she's probably the mischievous one.
And she had every type of story in the book. I took her across the street to Crystal to get her some breakfast. They already served breakfast at the school. So
Mhm.
so that was a lie right there. But anyway, I took her across the street, bought her what she wanted and took her back to the school. So it's been many times I've had an altercation with Tamika. But like I said, that was the baby girl, and I love both of them.
So I'm glad you pointed that out because that was one of the things that I wanted to discuss. Guys, we definitely think logically around here. You have to think in the 70s and 80s, there weren't a lot of people who were making a lot of money. So the next question is going to get into the struggle. He has already said specifically that he wasn't making money. This is another one of those tough questions. You had Miss Gloria saying, your father left us for dead. Then you had Tasha saying that her mother was her mother and her father. And then Tamika said they struggled while growing up. He has unequivocally stated that he paid his child support and that he continued to do for his children. Guys, we have to realize that struggling can come in a lot of different wrappings. If neither he nor his ex-wife made a lot of money and he paid and continually provided for his girls, what is the expectation there? How can we point a finger at him and say he left if he was still in their lives and he paid? So, I would also love to talk to Miss Gloria because I like to get in there with people and really see what they meant. But as far as we know now, she said that they were left for dead. He said that he was with the children and paid child support. So hearing those things, because this is where we get into the accountability portion. What Miss Gloria said, what Tasha said, and what Tamika said. Is there anything that you want to say in terms of accountability with those statements? Did you play a part in any of those three ladies' feelings?
Well, like I said before, I was there in their life. I provided what I could, what was required of the court. Now, they say you can't get blood out of a
Turnip.
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 Yeah. So I did what I could. If I was struggling, they would never have known, and they never would have known it. I would have never told them I was struggling. That's the difference. I would have never, after 50 years, got on social media and say, I'm struggling because of me and Gloria, we was going through this and that. I would never did that. And so the point is this, you mature, you grow up, and you learn from your mistakes. You try to be a better person than what you were. And so I tell you one thing, it hurts to keep hearing this, how bad I was when I know that's not the truth. It hurts. You know, it's like someone saying that you raped my daughter and you know you
Ooh.
did, but they said you raped them and everybody
Oh,
believed
don't.
them.
Oh, that's one of those words on YouTube that we can't use.
Okay.
They'll. Okay. Just say the R word, please.
Yeah, I won't even say that word no more, but I'm just
Okay.
giving you a hypothetical, example.
Hmm.
If somebody said you did something to their child and you know you went to jail, you did your time for it. Now you out and they're bashing you there in front of your house. They're on social media talking about what you did 20, 30 years ago. And that's what's happening to me. You know, a lot of stuff back in 72, 74, 78. I don't remember half of the stuff that I've done. But I know one thing, I'm a better person than I was back then. And you can't hold me accountable for being there for my children because I was there.
But ma'am, my thing is, and I said it on
Hmm.
the Jew, why
Hmm.
keep doing on the past? You can't get to what's in front of you because you're too busy looking backwards. Go on with your future. Leave me and mine alone.
I mean, I'm an outsider. I have thoughts on that. I mean, and this wasn't going to be part of the interview, but just seeing what happened on the show, and Mr. Scott, for anybody watching, does not watch the show, but he did hear and see the clip where he was specifically discussed. When we saw Tamika, Tasha, and the mother sit down, everybody's hearts went out to Tamika because there was something about a child who is now an adult who does not feel like they are seen, heard, or are loved in the same way as another child. And so many people have said that this show is so toxic and it paints us in a bad light, but so many of us feel that. So people want reality television, but then once they get reality television, it's like, oh, nope, you're doing too much. When your ex-wife said those things, to me, it felt like this is typically what happens when there is a disagreement between the two sisters. And maybe Tasha is the one that really goes to her mother and tells her everything. And the mother maybe inadvertently or maybe advertently takes a side because Tasha is the one that is consistently telling her. And from, what we heard, Tasha was even living with her, with Rocky at some point. So, guys, yes, this is reality television, but this is also people's real lives. And this is why Pastor Scott is really talking about his experience to shed light and also promote healing. Because that's what I'm hearing from him. And that's what he addressed to me prior to this interview. That's what he wants, healing between him and his daughters. So we got you separated from Miss Gloria, but not necessarily from your children. So when you did hear what Miss Gloria said, did it come as a shock to you? Because you had said that you were just prior to in a room with her and you guys had some playful banter. So hearing that on the show where she said those things, do you really think that that was a did you really think that that negative comment was geared towards you, or was it a way to kind of dig at Tamika?
Well, I don't know, but it affected a lot of people. I got a lot of response from it. People calling me like, "What's going on? Y'all were just together over at so and so's
Right.
house," and they was trying to, piece the pieces together. And here I am. When I heard it, like, what happened? What did I do the last time I saw her to make her to get on public radio or whatever and embarrass me? I would have never did her like that. And so I don't even know to this day why she did it. She could have been angry with Tamika because of the altercation, the argument they had, and just let out venom. People do that. When a person is angry, they'll bring up stuff in the past that you did that you thought that it was forgotten. People do that often, But the point, yeah, it shocked me, and so that's why I'm not getting on social media to get back at her because I'm a better person. I'm not going to belittle you because you belittle me, rail for rail. I'm not going to do that. And so, if that make her feel good, it make me feel bad, and I'm not going to make her feel bad because she made me feel bad. That's not going to happen.
Okay, that's fair. Guys, we have about 1,500 people watching us live. We only have 600 likes. So hit that like button. And also, we are very close to hitting 40,000 subscribers. So I think we need like less than 400 people, and we will be at 40,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I see that there's some super chats, but me and Pastor Scott are about to get into some more tough questions. So I'll try to read those super chats. When we're talking healing, this was something that me and the straight shooters picked up on. Tamika said that when she finally talked to her mother said that she was jealous. When you did your interview, you said that there was jealousy from Tamika as a child because of her voice. When I was trying to piece together what she meant by Miss Gloria said she was jealous, I could not figure it out. I was thinking it can't be the marriage that she's jealous of. Is she talking about the relationship that she has with Tasha? But when you said that there was jealousy as a child, that's when I was like, okay, it's the voice thing. So when we discuss that, can you tell me how you helped her with those feelings of inadequacy about her voice?
Well, if you go on our page, you'll see me playing the piano with Tasha and Tamika. But Latasha's voice developed first, and Tamika's voice was still in the phase of development. And so I would, tell her, you're going to be able to sing just like your sister one day. And I would always encourage her. And I would say that and say that. And sure enough, it happened one day. She just started singing. And I said, man, you can sing. And it got better and got better. But, every child, if another child can draw better than them or cook better than them or getting more notoriety and popularity, it's going to cause a little hardship and a little, jealousy. So the only thing that I can say is this, that I was there for Tamika to overcome that inferiority complex. That's what I would call it. She felt that she wasn't as good as Tasha. But now she's so active. She's doing everything in the movies, writing, has her own line of seasoning, her own cookbook. Every time you turn around, she's doing something. And I'm not saying that Tasha is not doing nothing, but I don't know because Tasha is more in her mother's life. And when Tamika has something, a book signing, guess who she called? She invites her daddy. So I know what's going on in Tamika's life. I don't know what's going on in Latasha's life.
I'm glad you brought that up because over here on this channel, we do it all. This man is a father to 6 children, and he wants the world to know that he supports all of his 6 children. So Pastor Scott wants me to let you guys know that Tamika has a cookbook currently. Let me move this comment on Amazon. Let's see. Where you can get her cookbook. And he also wants you to know that Tasha has a cookbook that you can get on Amazon. Tasha's is plant-based. Tamika's is not. So there's a little bit for everybody, but this man is a father to both of these women, and he wanted you all to know that. So we just needed to put that out there. So to the point of jealousy, because I think that a lot of times what happens in a child's life reverberates into adulthood. So knowing what you know about there being some alleged jealousy about the voice as a child, and in present day, Ms. Gloria said that Tamika was jealous of Tasha, and that seems to be her Achilles heel. How would you, or now that you know this happened, is this something that you would talk to your daughter about to kind of raise her spirits and let her know that the fans absolutely love her voice?
Well, let me say this. Tamika don't have anything to be jealous of Latasha. I mean, they both equally have talents. There's some things that God has blessed Latasha to do that he hadn't, blessed Tamika. But they both are talented. And so you have to look and examine what God has called you to do. Everybody can't sing in a choir. I don't want everybody to try to lead a song. Get in the background. Let the leaders lead. So whatever your strength is, stay in your lane. And I think that's fabricated. I don't believe that Tamika is jealous of Tasha. I don't believe that. And that's just, somebody saying what they want to say. But that doesn't mean that it's collaborated with anything that Tamika has said. Tamika has never spoken about jealousy or I wish I could do this. She's never done that. So where did that come from? That's just their opinion.
Glad you pointed that out. It was just important that we really touch on that because that jealousy conversation seems to continue to pop up. Okay. So, okay. You talked specifically about Tasha's mindset. And when you said it, my ears perked up. Y'all know how we do around here. You said that Tasha has always been more of the subdued peacemaker. Can you kind of let us in on her mindset? Because I think that is a piece to this puzzle.
Okay, I want to say this. Now, if you was going to get a behind whipping, you can expect it from Tamika. Because Tamika did not play. She was aggressive, combative, belligerent. She was one of my daughters. I tell anybody, you don't want to make her mad. Now, as growing up, and I said this on yesterday, I've never seen Latasha angry. I've never heard her cuss. She was like the quiet storm. So it was like day and night with Tasha and Tamika. But they still had their own expertise. They were good in what they did. But it doesn't mean because Tasha was quiet that she was worse or better than Tamika. It's just that was her character. And you can't expect both of them to have the same characteristics. But Tamika, she's a go-getter. Tasha is more like a quiet person. I've never seen her argumented. I mean, I'm just saying, me, it's always a side that your children won't let the parents know. But I'm saying what I've seen, what I've experienced, what I observed, that coming up, Tasha was the quiet person. She never gave us any trouble, me and Gloria in trouble when she was in school. Now, Tamika, well, I'm telling you, that girl ran us for our money. She wasn't a joke. She was nothing to play with. But still, I love her just like I love Tasha. I hope that answers you.
No, that did. And that's the whole point of these interviews. I told you, Pastor Scott, this was not going to be an easy one. It wasn't going to be a walk in the park, and we were going to get in there. And I think that when you hear him answer, guys, it's important to hear him say, this is how she was around me, but I know that she might have been different around somebody else. The reason I asked him that question specifically is because it speaks to her mindset. People are always saying that, oh, Latasha is being controlled by her husband. But if you have always been that subdued type of person, then that might be naturally who you connect with. Somebody who is more of a take charge, somebody who is more of like the fast talker, You know what I mean? So it speaks to mindset. But I'm glad that you touched on that. So we went into that. So we're gonna have some more of like rapid fire questions. Also, we have about 1,600 people in the chat. We still don't even have 1,000 likes, and me and Pastor Scott are giving y'all an exclusive. What's happening? What's happening? Okay. Also, oh yeah, you guys are definitely subscribing to the channel, and I appreciate that. We're pretty close to our 40K. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe to the channel. These are the kind of conversations that you'll get. Maybe not an interview per se, but a conversation with real people who are going through real things. So rapid fire questions. Do you know when Tasha blocked you?
Last month.
It was right after the episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I would say probably the next day, but once I saw the part that we're talking about now, I sent her a text and it came back that we were blocked. So I guess, she felt that I saw that and I was going to say something about it. They didn't want to hear what I had to say. But I don't know the exact date, but I know right after the first episode where Mom Glory was telling the camera people to get out of her house. And so the next day, whatever day that was aired on, the next day I was blocked.
Okay, so that's new information. Can you you don't have to tell us specifics, but are you comfortable kind of telling us what you had texted her, what the text was kind of about?
It was about me and her. We need to have a conversation as a father and a daughter. That's what basically what it was about. It wasn't nothing where I was getting on to her or anything. I'm just saying I didn't know that you felt that way. I think we need to have a discussion about that. But it was something that you probably would say to your daughter if you felt your daughter was upset about something, but she didn't come and tell you. And you sent her, look, we need to get together and talk about this. And that's all it was, It was
Okay.
nothing harsh. It was I would say it would be a love letter. That's what it was.
Got you. So you were in that moment, you were trying to bridge the gap because you had received new information. Is this the first time that you and Tasha have been out of contact or have like a lapse in communication?
No, sir. No.
Oh. So you've never been out of touch with Tasha like this before?
No.
Okay.
She's never blocked me ever.
Okay. So you mentioned, I asked the question on the first interview about how you could bridge the gap and could there ever be any communication between your two daughters, you and your ex-wife? And you said no. People wanted to push back at that because they feel as though even though your daughters are grown and you and your ex-wife have both moved on, if there's going to be healing, would you agree to maybe speak to all parties so that it's not necessarily a 2 against 2 situation, like 2 over there, 2 over here? Is that something that could ever happen?
Well, on my behalf, I can say I'm willing to do anything, okay? But I was speaking on, I don't think it'll happen on the other party, but I'm not saying me because I have negotiated with things with people that some folks would have just, throw in the towel and said, hey, it's over. But no, I don't give up on anybody. I feel that if that was necessary to make things better, I'm willing to do it. So no, I don't put a limit on what I'll do. My thing is I can only speak that I believe what someone else might not do. But on my behalf, whatever it takes, hey, if I have to grab both of them in the headlock and kiss on both of them, don't let them go, I would do that. But I'm just saying, the only way that can happen is got to be willing minds.
Okay. I mean, and that's fair. There are 2 sides to every story. And some people feel You should remove toxic people from your life. Other people feel if they're family, you can work it out. That's the whole point of these type of conversations. I call it kitchen table talk because there's not a right or wrong answer. Uh, Glory is not right or wrong. Her feelings are her feelings. People can't change them, but you have to give people the opportunity to grow. And Pastor Scott is saying that he would not shy away from a conversation with that side of his family and Miss Gloria. So I'm glad that you answered that question. Latasha recently did an apology, and I know that you did not see that apology. So I just want to play a couple of clips for you. And I think there's one clip that will surprise you because remember, guys, we are promoting healing. So I'm going to play the apology, and you can just kind of give us your sincere opinion about it. We're not going to play the whole thing, but there were some parts that I felt sincere, and I'm going to be honest with you, Pastor Scott. I now have access to people in PR, media, management, and I felt some of it was a little PR, public relations. But I want you to hear the apology because I felt the apology to her sister. There is some sincerity there.
Stop it. I can't even think about the things that are going on now because I'm being attacked everywhere I go. I'm being attacked. I go to the radio stations. I'm being attacked. I go to this place. I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked because I said I wanted to do a gospel project, a gospel. I want to sing to the Lord. And every other minute I'm being attacked. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. Keep it private. But are we perfect? No, we're not. Is he perfect? No, he's not. Am I perfect? I'm not perfect. I'm very much aware of the allegations that are happening about him. I see everything. As a wife, you see everything. But with our relationship, some people keep the fact that they have an open relationship quiet. They want to keep it private, but we have that.
Now, she said that she was in an open relationship. However, some people have felt like she actually meant there's an open line of communication. You had some thoughts on whether you believe she's in an open relationship as well. Can you kind of expound on that?
Well, that's, to me, that is not our family, quality. I would never preach that to have an open relationship. If you're married, you're married. If you're single, you're single. And she's not the only one being attacked. I'm being attacked too. Social media, everywhere I go, people recognize who I am and they ask me questions. So it's like every day what she's going through, I'm going through too. So we just have to get to the bottom of this. What can we do? All of us to come together and let the world know that, hey, we're trying to solve this. But Tasha's bringing out some things I didn't know anything about. Open relationship. I didn't know nothing about no open relationship. I taught her better than that. Her mother taught her better than that. And I just pray that she finds salvation and find help, and her and Tamika get together and talk over this thing, because social media is not making it any better. It's like it bloated out of proportion, and it's causing stress on all of us. So she's not the only one being affected. My kids, my other 4 kids are being affected by what was said.
Thank you.
On social media. And so I don't know nothing about no open relationship. I disagree with that. I don't believe in it.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. Let me get to the part where she apologized.
I'm trusting God that we will, and we will. I guess the glory. It's not even about us at the end of the day. It's about the love that we have and what we show people to get through. And we're going to get through this. I'm trusting God that we will, and we will. We're going to talk to Mika. I don't know. I mean, I keep reaching out. Mama's reaching out. I'm going to keep reaching out till you call me, till we rectify whatever the situation is. We're going to get through it. I know we will. And I apologize for anything that I didn't see, anything that I don't understand. I apologize to you for that. Excuse me, y'all.
Now, what I won't do in this interview, because I have seen a lot of the comments, people want to know about all the allegations about the money. That's not Pastor Scott's business. if Tamika and Tasha are going to heal and it's about money or business situations that they may be dealing with, unless they specifically come to Pastor Scott, he does not have a working running knowledge of all of the books from Xscape, from Rocky, her management. That's not his business. But he has said that he would, if they came to him, he could act as a mediator to try to figure it out. But we cannot expect that this gentleman is going to know all of that, nor does he necessarily want to comment on the money. Is that fair, Pastor
Yes, sir.
Scott?
Yes, sir. I agree with you.
Okay. So she did that apology, and I want to play another one from you because, again, we want the best. Not we. It seems like the general audience really wants to lift your daughter Tamika up because people feel as though she's the injured party here. But Tamika is the one who has to decide if she is going to make amends with her sister or not. And from what it sounds like, she is on the road to doing that. And we can't want something for her. And when I say we, I meant the general audience. People can't want something for her that she doesn't want. If she wants to, go to counseling, or make it right with her sister, we can't make that decision for her, and nor can Pastor Scott, nor can Miss Gloria for that matter. That's all on Tamika. So, I just hope that if she does make amends with her sister, that people don't try to like turn on her, because the fan base is really zeroing in on lifting her up. And conversely, from what they've seen on the show, a lot of people have given up on Tasha. Tasha has fans, and they DM me very regularly to get me straight on some things, Mr. Scott. But both your daughters have fans. And what we are doing here, he and I, is working to get understanding, ripping off that Band-Aid, and promoting healing. So I want you to hear this, because this came from Tamika. Where is it?
Right.
So where does that leave you guys?
You know what? I still haven't spoken to her. It's been a while. She changed her number.
No.
Yes, she did. And
Oh,
Tiny
my
has it. So I will get it
goodness.
from Tiny, and hopefully we can get together and just squash this
Right,
this
right.
craziness that's going on right now, because life is short
Absolutely.
for some people, and it's about loving each other, forgiving each other, embracing each other. It's nothing that someone has done so bad that you
Right.
can't forgive them, because if something was to happen to her or to
Right.
myself, then we'll be both like, it wouldn't be nice.
Where are things with SW?
Okay. So I don't think that Pastor Scott had heard that before. Hearing that come from Tamika, how does that make you feel as a father who wants healing?
Well, that's the start, and you have to ask for forgiveness. And if a person don't forgive you, it's not your fault. But at least you're reaching out to them. And so I'm looking at both sides. I'm looking at what Tasha said, that she's going through a lot, and what I heard Tamika say, that if something would happen to one of them, it wouldn't be nice. So I'm just praying that the Lord will intervene and they both decide, because I just told you that Tasha blocked us, so she blocked Tamika too. So Tasha gonna have to make the initiative to make sure that she can contact Tamika, because she has Tamika's number. So now it's gonna be up to the Tasha to call her sister to arrange something to get together. And they want me to be there, fine. But I don't think the mama need to be there. I just think just those two need to be there, or a mediator from some church or someone that has no interest in this, and then it'll make it better. Because they both initially, in so many words, apologize, and that's what it's all about, man. This got to stop. It can't keep going on, And one thing I would never do what Gloria did, I would never be screaming on public TV and screaming at my daughter. I don't even do that to my daughters now. I don't let nobody scream at my daughters. That's just a sign of that have aggression in you, screaming at your child and hollering at. No, I would never do that. So that's got to stop too. You know, if you're angry about the past, and then I apologize for anything that I did or anything somebody said I did. I ask you to forgive me, and so I don't have to worry about that. It's going to happen again because I'm not married to you, but you know, I'm willing to stretch my hands and say, hey, forgive me. I mean, if you hate me, you need to pray about it because your hate goes way beyond what I can ever or have done in my life.
Okay. Now this one I think you're gonna like. This one I think you're gonna like because we haven't heard this in public yet. Hopefully, you know, whoever turned down my last live where I played this, hopefully they don't do it again. But I really want you to hear this. And guys, Pastor Scott has not heard this yet. I see some of you in the comments who are asking me to play this. So that means that you have been watching my content and you see what I see. So this one is a good one, Pastor Scott.
Back to my roots, and I love what I do. I grew up singing in a household. My father would write music. He didn't even have any lessons. It was just that for me. I learned everything through song. So gospel to me and the conviction that I sing with, it comes from my faith.
We had to this date, we hadn't really heard so much positive, but that was definitely pretty positive. That was an interview she just did recently.
Well, you know, I treated both of them the same. I would wake them up and we would sing. I would have them singing. They'd be so sleepy. I said, no, we're going to sing today. They would get up singing. And like I said, I never had any lessons. I had a little piano, which I gave to Latocha's son. And I mean, I miss that. I would love for us to do an album called Back Together Again, or something that we can you know, just think about the past, the good times in the past. We've had so many good times in the past. We did so many good things in the past. And so the good outweigh the bad. You know, you can't just say because of one bad episode, that's the end of your life, end of your relationship, your family. This can't just demolish our family, destroy our family. We got to bridge the gap some kind of way. Whatever it takes, Tasha, if you're listening, Tamika, whatever it takes, man. You don't want to stand before God and you're not speaking, and then you miss heaven and go straight to hell. This is enough hell for all of us right here. We need to let go and let God. Let this foolishness go.
Okay. Thank you, Zelina. Just a couple super chats. Then we're gonna do the rapid fire questions that my subscriber sent me. Thank you, Zelina, for the super chat. Nicole, thank you for the content. And thank you for the clarity on how old the girls were. I mean, we're never going to make 100% of people happy, but I do think that in this conversation that we've had, that your daughters might actually see, people can see that you love both of your girls and you're willing to extend your hand to Miss Gloria, because right or wrong, y'all are still going to be connected for as long as you all live. Nicole, as people fall short, family, legacy, and wealth. I think that's why so many people are prone to this topic. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole, for the super chat. And thank you again for being here. I'm also going to be sharing with you guys one of Pastor Scott's songs, because like Tamika said, this was a man who learned music, helped them escape. And what was the Precise? Was that the name before Escape?
Yes, sir.
Precise. He promoted them and, you know, was an active part in their lives. Hi, Mims. How does he feel about Rocky? You can answer that if you want, Pastor Scott. Thank you. Not today, Satan.
Okay.
Well, do you have any feelings?
Well, it's like this. The more you spend with any individual, the more you learn about them. Me and Rocky have not ever just spent any time together. You know, I never got involved in their marriage. I was also, you know, happy that Latocha found somebody, happy that Tamika found somebody. But Darnell, him and I have done a lot of things that me and Rock has never done. So I don't
Darnell
know.
is Tamika's husband, correct?
That's
what you're saying?
That's correct.
Okay.
Matter of fact, when I was coming home from the hospital, they brought me home from after my open heart surgery. my wife, I don't know why she took all my clothes from the hospital, so I didn't have nothing to wear.
The doctor told
The
me to
doctor didn't
take
tell you
those.
that. Let me find out who that doctor is. But anyway, Mika went and purchased me an outfit to come home with because I didn't have nothing to wear, not even no underwear. That's a shame. But anyway, I can say this: when people spend time with you, the more you're familiar with their characteristics. And like I said, I don't have anything bad to say about Rock. I don't have anything bad to say about Donnell. I don't have anything to say bad about the critics. I just want to say to the critics, get your own life. And I guarantee you the things that I've gone through, you couldn't handle. So you better hope you don't have to go through some of the things that I've gone through. You better be prayerful because when you point your finger, believe me, it always come around. I said this yesterday, if you live in a glass house, don't throw no rocks. But yeah, my opinion, I want the best for Tasha and Rock. I want the best for Donnell and Tamika.
Okay, that's fair. Trina, thank you so much for the super sticker. Trav, thank you so much for the super chat. Just a little support. I told you guys I would definitely get to him, but Pastor Scott was dropping so much, I had to just keep going with him. Satra says, comment, co-parenting does not end at age 18. Please consider therapy and co-parenting classes to help your daughters. Many people have been using these women since childhood. Please protect them now. I think he kind of answered that. He is willing to extend his hand out to Miss Gloria if it means that they can have peace in the family. Is that fair to say, Pastor Scott?
Yeah, and she's correct. Whatever it takes to amend a marriage or children, grandchildren, whatever it takes, man, it's our responsibility and obligation to make it happen. That's why when we send kids to school, we neglect ourselves for them to go to college or go to a military school because we love them. And so whatever it takes for Tasha and Mika I would sell, if I had something to sell to bridge the gap, I would do that. But right now, prayer is the most essential thing that we can do. And instead of criticizing and talking about it, and we all need to just come together collectively and pray. Prayer has power, man. I always wanted a son all my life. And I prayed and I kept having girls, having girls, having girls. Pop goes the weasel. And then all of a sudden, after my son was born when I was 45 years old, his name was Randolph #2. But God granted me what I wanted because I kept praying until I got what I want. We're going to keep praying until God touched Tasha and Tamika's heart and they come back together.
Okay. I definitely appreciate that. We're getting to the rapid fire questions. Somebody, and these could be super quick, like yes or no's, or however you're comfortable. Are you up to date on the show?
On what show?
The SWV and Escape, Queens of R&B. I know you answered it, but these are from my subscribers, my members, actually.
No, the only thing that I watched was the segment someone sent to my wife from Detroit. It was wondering what was going on because they said this was not the person that we knew. It was not true. And so when I saw it, that was the first time. And on Juice, I watched that, but that's as far as it goes. I have not watched any other segment.
Okay. You answered this one already. It was, did your ex-wife ever get remarried? You said yes. It says, would you consider acting as a mediator? He said yes. You have a total of 6 children. Do the 2 children in the middle have a relationship with Tasha and Tamika?
Well, Tasha has a relationship with my son, and Tanisha has a relationship with Tamika. So it's like, again, Tasha and Randolph are close, and Tamika and Tanisha are close.
Okay. Let's see. Do you have a relationship with your grandson, Rocky and Tasha's son?
I don't hear from him. And but one thing I can say that I applaud him. It was my birthday, and I was doing a wedding. He called me to say happy birthday. That was last year, right? When I did say last year. but I hadn't seen him since then. But he did call me and say, "Happy birthday, granddaddy." And Tasha was on the other line. So they both
Okay.
wish me happy birthday.
I appreciate that. And that means that there is potential for more of that, because that's what it sounds like. Um, as we start to kind of wind down, before I ask these last couple questions, we got another super chat. Pastor Scott, I commend your stance on the situation. I pray that the sisters can reunite as loving sisters. Thank you, Black Swan. That's appreciated. Pastor Scott actually, like I told you guys, was a singer and is a singer. And I found this. Let me share it with you guys. Was this a remake, Pastor Scott?
Yes, sir. We're from a 45 to digital and Pro Tools.
So he has a song called Running Wild by the Scott Three. And is it this one, the one with the kid on it, or the one with the three boys? Which one is yours, actually?
All of them.
Okay. So definitely check that out. I will have a link to Pastor Scott's church services that he does on Facebook. They're going to get me his Instagram link as well so that you can follow him. And I'm going to have a link to this song so that you can kind of check out where the girls got their voice from. Because he says it was all him. Just kidding. He didn't. That's where the shade comes in. Because, you know, Miss Gloria was the 5th member. So were you the 6th?
I was the 7th.
Yeah, y'all both need to get behind Mama Joyce because she don't play. Have you ever met Mama Joyce?
Mama Joyce is so sweet. We talk all the time. We talk all
I
the time.
absolutely love Mama Joyce, but my favorite is Aunt Bertha. Oh my gosh, that lady is absolutely hilarious to me. Candy and Don Juan told me if I wanted to get an interview with her, I was going to have to grease her palms.
Wow.
So I got the grease and I still didn't get the interview. Okay. Any teachable moments?
When you say teachable moments,
From this experience, from this situation?
where I've learned, number one, and I'm saying to everyone that's watching, never put your personal business on social media because they're going to blow out of proportion. Some people, they're not going to believe your story. Some folks going to hate you. Some folks going to love you more. Some folks going to draw close to you. But the thing is this, the truth will always come to the light. And so I've learned this, to be swift to hear and not always be judgmental. And, you know, just to follow what I see. What I'm doing now, I'm not making a lot of comments on everything I see. I'm just following it and I'm praying about it. You know, because sometimes the less you say, the better off you are. You know, and I'm praying, believing God that something miraculous is going to happen with the 2 girls because they were raised up. They know what's right. They both attended my church while they were adults. They know what's right. They know what's wrong. And this is going to hunt them until they get it right. It's going to antagonize them until they get it right.
Okay. Thank you, Sheila, for joining the membership. We got a couple more super chats. Pastor Scott, I have lost a child. I lost a child. I promise nothing worse than that. I request heaven's grace to heal this situation for you.
Well, thank you. I lost a child too. I lost a son, and it hurt. And you know, sometimes when we go through hurts, the devil want to make you, you know, go ahead and fault God, accuse God. But then, you know, if you look at the life of Job, everything that was taken from Job, God gave him double for his troubles. And we pray that God continue to bless you with serenity and the things that you need, because it's never easy to lose a loved one, but we do get over it. You know, weeping endure but a night, but joy is coming. So I pray that God will give you peace.
Okay, we're going to end out with some of these. This is you and Tamika. Where were you?
At my church.
Christ Miracle Temple. You guys look it up. Again, you with Tamika.
Yeah, I don't know why that was not turned around before it's sent.
No, that's right. You're standing up. She's in your arms.
Oh, okay. I thought she was doing a flip.
Yes, you hold
Okay.
it to
No.
me.
Okay. All right. Might need-
This was some of the things that Pastor Scott has collected over the years because he was letting you guys know that he was very proud of his daughters. This looks like the whole group with Jermaine and some man in the back.
Okay. My wife had some of the lights in my eyes. I see a red dress. Is that a red dress or a shirt?
No, that's Tasha in a red, like a long shirt, Candy, Tiny, and Tamika. They're all
Oh,
with Jermaine Dupri. So I'm assuming that's right when they were like signed or, still new.
I think it was a signing at Greenbrier when they were signing one of their albums. It might have been the first or second album. And I was there in full police uniform, so making sure that nothing happened. So I've always been a part of their life.
Somebody said that I have to grease the pastor's palms. Absolutely not. Uh, Pastor Scott is not doing any of this for money or clout. And also, guys, there's not too much more you can ask. Not only has he talked about his truth, but he also took accountability for a lot of things. And that's all you can do for growth and healing is to not only look outside, but also talk about some external things. And that's what we have given you. The last thing we're going to discuss is I shared your daughter's single. And me and Pastor Scott actually listened to it before the interview, and that was his first time listening. Do you have any thoughts about her new single, Tasha's new single?
Well, the thing is, she's very talented. And if she was someone else's daughter, and I just know her from as being an artist, I would buy her record. That's how great I think she is to me as far as an artist. But I would never buy her single or her album because I feel that if I'm your father, you should autograph your song and deliver to your daddy personally, like Tamika did in her cookbook. She made sure she autographed it and she sent it to me, and I have it. But I just feel like the parents should not have to buy certain things. I support her and let everybody know, get Tasha's 45, get her album. But I don't think it's right for me to purchase one when I'm your daddy. I think you need to sign it and bring it to me. I think that's a sign of respect. But yeah, it's a beautiful album. It really is. It's a beautiful album. If Monica had did it, I would have said the same thing. Or if Beyonce had said it, I would have said the same thing. I'm not just saying it because she's my daughter, but she has an outstanding talent. She's good. I mean, she took it after the seventh member or the seventh person. That's me. So she has a good voice, like her daddy.
Okay, so Pastor Scott did want me, and this is from Pastor Scott. He wanted me to let you guys know that her new single was out. I shared it on my page. I listened to it. To me, it sounded like she tried to blend R&B and gospel. It's like maybe that's why Motown wanted her specifically because of the blending of those two genres. So Pastor Scott did say he liked it. He also wanted me to let you guys know that Xscape is still touring, and these are the remaining dates on the tour. So definitely check out both of his daughters because we are not about destroying families. We can go, and I go deep, Pastor Scott, in looking at all of these scenarios and breaking down equations because that's part of my job. But in terms of talking to this man about his daughters, if you really thought that I was going to come in here and sow more division that they already have, then you don't know Make It Make Sense. We're shady, but we're fair. And that's why he came and did this interview, not because I was greasing his palms.
Yeah.
But he ate today. This has been a really wonderful conversation between the two of us. I really enjoy getting to know you and Angela. I appreciate the Juice Radio for connecting us. And we will be in contact. There's some things that I want to talk to him about his Facebook and things like that. And I will, because I definitely believe in extending my hand out and lifting people up. And social media, he already says, is not his shtick. And so I am going to do that. But I appreciate you, Pastor Scott. I appreciate you, Angela. I appreciate you guys who did like the video. We got about 1,100 likes, but we had about 1,800 people in here. So let's get those likes up. And a lot of you subscribed. I am now super close to 40,000 subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. Did you have anything to close out, Pastor Scott?
Well, Mims, before my husband come, I'm looking at the comments. Yes, I'm going to protect
Angela, Miss Angela,
yes.
Miss Angela, don't read the negative comments. Don't do it.
It's fine. I'm just looking at it. But I have to protect this man because this man just had open heart surgery. I'm not going to let anything harm him or come or get him upset. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to protect him. Whether y'all think I need to sit back and hush, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to protect my husband, whether you want to hear me or not. Now you can go.
In all fairness, Pastor Scott did recently have open heart surgery. He has been very vocal about when all of this news broke and the firestorm happened, it did affect his health. So his wife is being protective of him because she's the one that's at the hospital. You guys know that recently I've been a caregiver, and my caregiving is a very short amount of time. For somebody to love somebody, be with them for, I believe, 13 years, caregive, she's going to be protective. And you can't expect anything less from a wife. But please continue, Pastor Scott.
Yeah, tomorrow is Resurrected Sunday, and a lot of people going to church, and they're going to return home with the same hell they had when they left. You got to let things go. You got to let things go. And so let tomorrow be a new beginning in your life, not holding grudges. If you have, an ex-wife or ex-husband, try to be friends with as much as you can, but don't get on social media, try to embarrass them, because you don't want nobody to embarrass you. My mother used to say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. But I don't even know what a gander is. I just go by what my mama said, rest her soul. But I just want to say that I appreciate you. And I would have never did any interview. My wife is the one that set the interviews up, because I've never ever tried to defend myself. As long as I know I'm right, I never tried to prove I'm right or prove I'm wrong. I mean, I'm too old for that now. But the thing is this, I'm a man of love. I don't hate nobody. And I thank you and appreciate you having me on your show. And I hope I get a chance to meet you one day. And I hope your ratings go all the way through the roof. And
thank
God
you.
bless you, man. I just want to say that to you personally.
Maybe we'll meet at the Old Lady Gang with Mama Joyce and Aunt Bertha when you're in Atlanta. I will treat. But we got two. Tony says, Saturday love, thank you so much. Pastor Scott needs an archivist or an archival paper and boxes to preserve his memorabilia. He showed a lot of memorabilia on the Juice Radio show, so that might be something to look into to make sure that it preserves in perpetuity.
Yes, sir. Tell them thank you.
Thank you, Miss DGF. Just Jess 20, great job, Mims. Thank you guys for watching. I have more stuff coming down the pike. Subscribe to the channel. I, again, will post all of Pastor Scott's Instagram, his Facebook, where you can watch him this Easter Sunday, and his video where he is actually a singer. And was it your brothers that you were singing with?
Yeah, they're both deceased.
Okay. So I will post all that in the description of this video. He has been a great sport, and I feel like he has been fair. If Mama Gloria wants to come on, or Tasha, or whomever, they are welcome on this platform as well, and we will do our best to give him or her the same shady but fair treatment. All right. Bye, guys. Don't hang up, Pastor Scott.
Okay.
See you guys later.
Okay.